Hi, I'm Erik Linask here at IT Expo East in Miami. I'm talking now with Jeff Dworkin from Sangoma. Jeff, thank you for joining me. Great to see you.
Thanks for having us here again.
So, Sangoma's gone through some changes over the past year or so. Talk to me a little bit about that, and specifically about how that has helped position Sangoma in the IP communications market.
Sure. Well, I think the past year has been really a year of transition, reinventing the company, new CEO, new director of marketing, a lot of shuffling around within the internal staff, preparing us for growth. Now, this is the year that we're really going to execute on it. We've gone from releasing one new product a year to up to a dozen products now, and all of them focused more on this IP communication space than on the traditional space that Sangoma occupied. We were, or used to be, about just boards for Asterisk. And now we have a great big breadth of products that really addresses a lot more things. We have products coming out in signaling, SS7, we have video products. So that is really how we're changing the positioning from, again, just boards to now more of a generalized IP communications company.
Now, you were pretty much, like you said, boards for Asterisk, and now you're doing a lot more than just open source.
Oh, absolutely. Again, we are certainly not abandoning our history in open source. We still have lots of products for there. We sponsor lots of open source events. We participate in all the open source IP-PBX events around the world, but we are also adding new products that are not traditionally open source. One of the things we are doing, we are helping the open source guys who a lot of this technology may have been unavailable to them in the past. Like, open source doesn't do video very well, it doesn't do SS7 very well. So we are showing them how to use the proprietary or the closed source products in an open source environment, and same the other direction. We are helping traditionally proprietary companies use certain pieces of open source technology in a way that makes sense for their business strategy, and understanding a lot of the licensing and some of the complexities of using open source that are, again, troublesome for some of the companies that don't understand how the licensing works there.
So we've already seen the impact of some of this change in a number of new releases recently. What does that do in terms of your geographic approach, your geographic market?
Sure, we're also expanding geographically. We were traditionally mostly a North American company. We had one VP of sales who managed our complete distribution network. Over the past 6 months, we now have a regional director for each of the major geos: Latin America, North America, Europe, and Asia. So there's 4 channel managers who are working more closely with the regional distribution network to deliver more product and new product to those regions.
Are you seeing any greater interest or activity in certain regions already?
Sure, Latin America has always been hot for us. The nature of this show is very LAT-focused. We have a lot of Latin American partners in our booth this time to help with the Spanish-speaking community. We also see another big uptick happening in India and in Asia in general. We're still in Europe. We are getting a lot of traction with the relaunch of the Vega Stream products, now the Sangoma Vega Gateway line. So there was a lag there, but what we're seeing is a recovery. Vega Stream had some issues. Those are all solved now. It was mostly on the business side, but we now have stock. We have, again, we have Steve over there who's working relighting the relationships that Vega Stream had with the distribution network over there, again, as the Vega product. So we're seeing growth there, but that's more right now is just sort of getting back in order what had gone a little bit astray. But we're doing lots of events over there as well.
You can't really have a communications conversation without mentioning cloud at some point these days. What does cloud mean for Sangoma?
Sure, from our viewpoint, the cloud is just one more layer or one more resource to the IT department to deliver services. So whether an application or a service is being delivered from a CPE standpoint, hosted, managed, or cloud, you need some way to interface to that resource and bring that service or application back to your corporate users. So one of the things we're talking about in a lot of the sessions I'm talking about are how to do that integration at the edge of your corporate infrastructure using a gateway device to proxy, whether it's bring your own device or bring your own service, in order to deliver that service or use that device on your corporate network in a way that makes sense within the security constraints or the security rules of your network. So that's really where cloud is. Cloud is one more thing adds another layer of complexity for the IT guy, and it just has to be managed.
Excellent. Hey, Jeff, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great show.